Final destination, Bloodlines, opens with a new group of young adults traveling to a family reunion meant to honor their ancestors. The story introduces Emma, a college student who has always felt strange premonitions, and her cousins Liam and Grace. During a guided tour of their ancestral mansion, Emma suddenly has a terrifying vision of a massive structural collapse that kills everyone inside. Panicking, she convinces several people to step outside just moments before the mansion abruptly caves in. The survivors are shaken, confused, and desperate for answers. Emma tries to explain that she saw the collapse before it happened, but her relatives dismiss it as shock and coincidence. However, the pattern becomes familiar to longtime fans. Death is correcting the mistake of allowing them to live. Soon after the incident, one of the survivors dies in a freak accident, echoing the strange, overly precise deaths seen in past Final Destination films. As more deaths occur, Emma realizes that her connection to these visions might be deeper than she thought. Her mother reveals a dark family secret. Their bloodline has always been sensitive to impending tragedy, with certain members receiving prophetic warnings before large-scale deaths. This revelation adds a generational twist, showing that the family's supernatural link goes back centuries. Determined to break the cycle, Emma researches the family's past and discovers a journal written by an ancestor who survived a deadly mine collapse in the 1800s. The ancestor described dreams and visions just like Emma's, and how after surviving the disaster, the remaining family members died mysteriously, one by one. Emma realizes death has been targeting her bloodline for generations. The group of survivors becomes divided. Liam believes they can cheat death by creating new life or altering the order of survival through extreme actions. Grace, however, insists that the only way out is understanding the original pattern of deaths. Arguments erupt, tensions rise, and paranoia builds as everyone becomes aware that any small detail, a loose wire, spilled liquid, or faulty machine, could be their end. Meanwhile, Emma suffers increasingly vivid premonitions, each showing the next death in gruesome, symbolic images rather than full sequences. She struggles to decode these cryptic clues before each accident happens. This adds a psychological layer to the story, as she fights both time and her own fear to protect the remaining survivors. As the death order continues, the survivors attempt to physically isolate themselves, believing they can prevent the accidents. But Final Destination rules apply. No matter how safe they try to be, death finds a way. One survivor dies in a highly unconventional accident caused by their overprotective measures, proving that avoidance only accelerates the inevitable. Emma eventually pieces together that the ancestor from the journal attempted to break the curse by saving someone who was never meant to survive the original disaster. This act disrupted death's path, binding their family to repeated cycles of visions and delayed deaths. Emma realizes the only way to end it is to restore the original alignment. Someone must willingly sacrifice themselves in place of the person who should have died during the mansion collapse. In an emotional climax, Emma chooses to sacrifice herself to break the generational curse. She places herself in a situation matching her original vision's fatal moment. Just as death comes for her, Liam and Grace try to stop her, but she accepts her fate, believing it will save everyone else. Her self-sacrifice leads to a violent yet symbolic accident that feels like the curse finally concluding. The film ends with Liam and Grace surviving months later, seemingly free from the supernatural pattern. But the final scene delivers the classic Final Destination twist. A subtle chain reaction begins in the background, implying death is never truly finished. The camera cuts to black before the outcome is shown, leaving audiences questioning whether Emma truly broke the curse or only delayed it.